G'day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at my build for the blue Gohan. So this is blue Beast Gohan, and yeah, we're going to see just how I build him basically. So the equipment's up on the screen, obviously subject to change. The Gohan one especially, if you're not running him on a Hybrid Saiyans or a Hybrid Saiyans heavy team, probably don't want to run that piece of equipment. You can also awaken, hold on to my shoulder. It's also a pretty solid piece of equipment. Once awakened, I've just kind of gone with the base one for now, just to give you an idea. But yeah, basically, when you look at all of these equipments, what you're basically looking for, you're looking for strike attack, you're looking for health, you're looking for crit, or you're looking for special move damage, preferably special move damage over crit. But yeah, that's kind of summarizes what you're looking for in general when you're building the unit. You kind of want to focus on those areas, as that's going to give you like the best overall performance when it comes to Gohan personally. So Gohan does a couple of things. He's a pretty interesting unit. On his blast, he has the chance to inflict the enemy with the attribute downgrade +10 to all arts card costs, which is pretty good. He has Violet Beast Kick. If your unique gauge is full, he will deal massive impact damage, reset his unique gauge to 0, and apply the following effects: plus 60% to special move damage, restoration of vanishing gauge by 70%, and nullification of element factors. This is one of the biggest components of Gohan. It's the fact that he can do this kind of like almost element-free, huge damage special move, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. So that's like Gohan's not his big gimmick, but that's one of his major components, is that ability to do this element-free, neutral favoring kind of damage with a very powerful special move. Then his special skill's also pretty good. He will reset his own unique gauge to 0 if it's at full, and destroy all the enemy's cards, randomly draw one new card, restore his own key, increases damage, nullify element factors, and restore his own vanishing gauge. And then if your unique gauge is not full, you just draw a card and restore your own key, which is pretty good. And then we've got Explosive Beast Rush, which is Gohan's special. And this is obviously very, very good. It nullifies the restoration of health when it reaches 0 effect, which is pretty important. And will also restore your vanishing gauge as well. So Gohan's got a lot of vanishing gauge restoration, if you didn't notice. He also has a lot of element favoring, or reduction of element favoring mechanics as well, which is again pretty important. In terms of his Z abilities, he affects the Hybrid Saiyans category the most, and the Son family and Saga from the movies, but he has an additional buff for Hybrid Saiyans. So pretty good lead for a lot of units. To cover Goku or Son family, Saga from the movies, and Hybrid Saiyans is pretty nutty when you think about it. So he's got a pretty sizable boost there. And then in terms of passives, he's got a lot going on, but 90% damage infliction, a fully charged up unique gauge to begin with, reduction in damage by 60%, and -5 to art cost. He also increases his art card draw level by 1, or cannot be cancelled. When he enters the battlefield, he restores his own key, he nullifies element factors, nullifies attribute downgrades, and also has plus 60% to damage inflicted. If there's a defeated battle enemy or a battle member, he will randomly destroy one enemy card, restore his own health, and increase his damage reduction that he receives. He also has a guaranteed special card if Piccolo or Pan are the person that is defeated. And then when changing cover, he will knock back the enemy to long range if it's performed against a strike or blast arts cost, which is pretty crazy. He also does shorten his own substitution count by 3. When the enemy uses a special move, he also applies the following effects to himself. When the enemy activates Rising Rush, health restoration, restores his own health by 30%, only once when it reaches 0. So he's a Rising Rush canceller. He charges his own unique gauge every time he uses an art card while he's on the field. And once his unique gauge is full, he gains 25% to damage, restores his own key by 40, applies nullification of enemy special actions for 15 timer counts, and gets 15% to ultimate damage inflicted. So Gohan, to cut a long story short, is really good. There is a reason why he's still in the meta, and I think he will stay in the meta for a long time. This amount of element like nullification is really something that will keep a unit relevant for a long period of time. The fact that Gohan still, to this day, even without large amounts of boost and without a large amount of effort, can still pretty much somewhat insta-delete an opposition unit is something that's really quite insane. I mean, you can see just how much damage Gohan does, like here with his strikes, and he can easily combo into himself with that card draw speed. Obviously here now we've had the opponent disconnect. This is just part of the process. But yeah, his damage is really, really big. This is where the strike kind of comes in for him from his equipment builds. He is a strike favored unit. Special move damage is also pretty big. Getting access to special move cards is pretty easy, especially if you've got a Pan or a Piccolo on the team. And yeah, crit does help him out. It's not mandatory because he does have that large amount of element favoring nullification, but it does help him out as well, just in the situation where maybe you don't have it. But you can see here, Gohan just tears through people. I know my opponent doesn't maybe have the craziest team, but Gohan just absolutely shreds so many different units. And it's pretty crazy when you want to break it down into like looking at how good Gohan is still from his release. He can restore his Vanishing Gauge super easily. He restores Vanishing Gauge off of 3 abilities, which is really something quite important. His special move will increase his Vanishing Gauge if his unique gauge is full, which is very good. His special move will increase his Vanishing Gauge if his unique gauge is full. And if you have defeated battle members, you can increase his Vanishing Gauge as well quite easily. So Gohan's really good like that. One thing that Gohan does suffer from a little bit, if you throw him out first, he won't be as good. A defeated battle member does augment Gohan quite a bit. So if you throw Gohan out first, he might not be as tanky or as impressive as you want him to be with it. Gohan's just very good. Gohan's just really, his kit just makes him very, very simple and easy to use. Like, that's the one thing about Gohan that makes him, very good. You don't need a lot of nuance with the combat system in Legends to make Gohan function or look good. The thing is with like UI Gokus, right, is like they auto dodge moves, but they don't auto dodge specials. And as units, like generally there's a little bit of practice to understanding how you want to play with them. You know how to move with them, you know how to side move, you want to push your UI Goku up close so that you can anticipate when the opponent's going to try a Vanishing Step, so that you can make use of their auto evasion. Because just auto evading, especially without counters like the MUI Goku, just auto evading attacks from 400 meters away doesn't really make much of a difference for you. So yeah, if you think of it that way, Gohan comparatively is an incredibly easy unit to use. Gohan does not have a lot of the issues that other units have. His kit is incredibly simple. Gohan auto combos into himself pretty much. Gohan doesn't have any specifically difficult mechanics to master. All you have to do is use moves to fill up his unique gauge. When his unique gauge is full, slap and hit your opponent with any move you want. Literally anything. You can hit them with a special move. You can start just beating them to death with strike attacks because they can't do cover change anymore. It's just a lot. Like, there's just a lot that you can and can't do against Gohan. And the thing is it doesn't require that much. When I say that much skill, I mean you can definitely be a much more skilled Legends player than me. But it doesn't require the utmost skill. Gohan's raw damage output just from hitting special moves and things like that is very impressive and very, very good. So I do think, like, at the end of the day, Gohan, at least for me as a unit, is in this situation of being very, very, very solid. He just doesn't really let you down too much. Only real thing is he's not incredibly tanky, and your team builds don't really want him to be incredibly tanky. You do want to emphasize the offense with him. It is just one of those things. I see a lot of people now kind of running these triple Zenkai boost builds for Gohan, really just slapping on the blue boost buff. which is fine. Like, honestly speaking, it's more than fine to kind of run or look to run these blue boost buffs to really just kind of elevate Gohan, I think, which is, okay. I just think at the end of the day, it is probably, like, I mean, you can see here, by the way, this is a green Jiren, and Gohan is just going to do a huge, insane amount of damage to him. Like, very, very good. And that wasn't even Gohan, like, with his gauge full or anything. That's just Gohan. That's just Gohan being Gohan. And you can see a lot of, like, blue boost builds happening. I think a lot of people are running the blue pan as, like, a kind of buffer unit to this Gohan. And she does a great job of buffering Gohan. Actually, she provides, I believe, quite a lot of interesting kit capabilities to him. So firstly, obviously, she's a Son family unit. She gives base strike, which is pretty big for Gohan. But then the real big thing is her Zenkai. Her Zenkai actually provides additional big bonuses to the Son family as well. So she gives, like, a lot to that, or to Gohan. Like, she gives him quite a bit with that strike and that blue and Son family kind of Zenkai buffer. She actually makes Gohan look really, really solid. A lot of people are kind of running that as their kind of like go-to pairing on a lot of Son family teams, because Gohan, he needs a Pan or he needs a Piccolo to kind of gain full access to his kit, and it's very small full access thing. It's not like he absolutely needs them, but yeah, he does benefit from them quite a bit. So Gohan's looks really good alongside them. Really, how you change how you boost Gohan is just going to affect the equipment that you have. So for example, if you're going to all of a sudden switch in Pan, maybe over, for example, Trunks, then you do just need to consider that there is a loss to Gohan's equipment. So for the gain, there is a loss. Obviously, it's quite a substantial gain with it being a Zenkai boost, but it is just important to make sure that you are aware of how this affects your equipment. So remember, Gohan's got some more Hybrid Saiyans heavy equipment. He's got some more movie bosses heavy equipment, and so it's very important that you kind of function or like factor all of these things in when you're kind of building or working towards building with these units. And yeah, the thing is at the end of the day, look, Gohan will still have problems in fights, especially if you can't get Gohan to kind of get going. Like here, you're gonna see this is gonna be quite a long fight, but it's very difficult to like get him going in a longer fight, especially if you can't burst the opposition. So in this situation, it's a great example whereby the opposition team has quite a high boost, like a very high level of boost that's going on, and so it makes it very difficult to kind of pierce through the health threshold with these units. But you can still see the intense amount of damage that Gohan does, having practically almost killed Gogeta there, although really silly timing of me with the main ability. But yeah, Gohan will still do damage when teams have very high levels of health recovery, like this Gogeta, who just exists basically to be like a huge horrifying counter. It is one of those things, some like longer fights could give Gohan issues. We don't have a lot of health recovery naturally. Pan, or especially the blue Pan, do help out a little bit with that. But yeah, but in general, I mean, Gohan still does great. Obviously here we're just, I'm also playing poorly, which doesn't help at all, trying to throw out range blasts against bloody Ultra Vegito. But yeah, the thing is Gohan is very good. And I honestly think Gohan is a really, really solid unit, great damage dealer. I have a lot of fun playing with him. He's super easy to play with as well. So you shouldn't really have huge major issues with them. Just remember your cover changes only twice. It's probably something super important to mention to everyone. It is important, cover change will only function twice. Here, unfortunately, this is it for... Oh, no, actually he lived, never mind. Which just shows how tanky Gohan can be, by the way. Very, very, very tanky unit, so... Yeah, Gohan is good. I really like Gohan. He's great for a player like me who's really bad. To be able to basically auto-eliminate people and do some pretty wacky things, which I think is really good. So yeah, I would say, at least from my perspective, I think Gohan's probably in a really good situation right now with the meta, and I think he'll stay in a good situation for a while. I think the way they've designed him has made him very good for a lot of situations. I think they have made him very solid, very strong. They've made him, like, as mentioned, the nullification of types elements is something that's always going to be incredibly valuable overall. And yeah, I think in general there is a really good unit here that just exists, and honestly, if you do have him, or maybe you're hoping to get him in future, he'll still probably hold a lot of value. I really like him. I think he's a hell of a great designed unit, and I think his animations are really hype. He's really cool. He can throw down with some of the best of them, and yeah, I think in general he just looks good. Without getting in too deep, he does look really, really solid. We have a great time here. You can see the nullification of the special cover changes here, which is great. Gohan doing some really big damage, which is awesome. I unfortunately am just bad. So this leads to some poor decision making across the line. So yeah, but that's just one of those things. Yeah, that's how Legends fights go. Most of it's down to poor decision making, but Gohan's team is in a pretty good space, and I think Gohan himself is in a pretty good space. Hybrid Saiyans keeps getting buffed, movie bosses keeps getting buffed. Movie Saga from the movies keeps getting buffed. As long as these categories keep getting buffed, Gohan will always have a place to be relevant. It's just going to depend on... Yeah, I just think Gohan's really... Like, he was very irritating when he first came out, but I do think he'll be relevant for a long time as a unit. And I think his design will be very future-proof. It is a bit irritating, like I said, it can annoy, especially higher skill players, because you don't need a lot to make them work. Like, even simpletons like me can kind of make it work, and that's, always something that I guess that irritates higher skilled players, and I understand that from their perspective. Some units are more complex to make work. Gohan just is not. But yeah, he's a lot of fun, and if you are interested in using him, go right ahead. And yeah, hopefully my build helps. Hopefully, what you've seen here today will help you out. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, bye.